Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Tipsy Ghost. We're your tipsy hosts, Sarah, and Lindsay. And you guys get to join us on a very special treat for a haunted pub crawl in New Orleans, Louisiana, hosted by U.S. Coast Adventures. None of us have ever been to New Orleans, so you know we were just loving every bit of this spooky city that is shrouded in dark history and lore. Once we arrived in the French Quarter, we couldn't wait to hear the stories about the spirits that still linger in the area. And who can blame them? Look at these cool buildings everywhere on our walk to Jackson Square. Luckily, U.S. Coast Adventures offered several different options to choose from, so we were able to do our tour on the first night. But don't worry, if a haunted pub crawl isn't your thing, they have several family-friendly walking tours in several cities. And here we are arriving at the St. Louis Church near Jackson Square, which was our meeting point pretty close to where we were staying. We're about to give you a little update.
We're at Andrew Jackson Square,
Yes,
also known as Jackson Square,
New Orleans, Louisiana.
about to meet our guide for a haunted pub crawl,
Do you like the background music?
obviously. Looking forward to having a great time. Are you gonna get tipsy?
I hope so.
Just a little subtle foreshadowing for you there, because spoiler alert, we did in fact get tipsy. This is our first look at Jackson Square, and it really is pretty cool. It's a beautiful park with the statue of, you guessed it, Andrew Jackson on a horse in the center, surrounded by beautiful trees. Now, one thing about New Orleans is there will always be music playing somewhere, and where there's music, there's dancing. There you go, there's a little dancey dance, and that was stunning, thank you. Now, this band was incredible. We could have listened to them all night. We had to get going, but here's a sample. I know, right? So much fun. We were finally able to meet up with our amazing tour guide, Royale, and if you're lucky enough to have her on your tour, please tell her we said hello. Okay, here we have arrived at our first stop, Harry's Corner Bar. And as you can tell, this was a cash-only bar, so just keep that in mind if you head out on this tour. Our tour guide was great and communicated this to us in advance, so we had cash in hand, and there was another one later that was a cash-only bar as well. And we visited in October, so every place in the French Quarter was completely decked out in Halloween decor, which of course we loved. And here we are, ready for our first drink. Anybody else's go-to move the thumbs up? So I'm not exactly sure if Harry's is haunted, but they have the cutest ghost jello shots in town. Next up on the tour was the Ursuline Convent, which you're going to see here in just a second. The convent was built in 1727 by the Sisters of Ursula. Somehow the convent miraculously survived the fires of 1788 and 1794, which destroyed almost everything else in the French Quarter. Probably the most famous story that you will hear about the Ursuline Convent is that of the Casket Girls. During the 18th century, the French government would send young women as potential brides for the settlers. They often would carry small wooden trunks with their belongings, which gave them their nickname. Legend says that shortly after their arrival, strange things began happening at the convent. The nuns looked in the trunks and decided that they had been used to transport vampires. The shutters of the Ursuline convent remain closed in fear that if opened, it will unleash a terrible curse. People have reported seeing ghostly figures and glowing eyes and believe that the Casket Girls still haunt the convent. Now, the story of the Casket Girls transporting vampires in their suitcases may or may not be totally true, but it is now a big part of the New Orleans folklore. Just around the corner is one of the most haunted houses in the French Quarter, the Lalaurie Mansion. In 1832, a wealthy New Orleans socialite named Madame Delphine Lalaurie moved into the home with her husband. Throughout the years, information came out about her cruel treatment of enslaved people, and honestly, this story deserves an entire episode to itself because there's just too much information to cover here. But don't worry, they'll fill you in if you go on this tour. And if you're a fan of American Horror Story, specifically the third season Coven, this is who Kathy Bates is portraying. Okay, as you can see, it's starting to get dark and the city is really starting to come to life. One of our favorite things were these gas lanterns that can be seen pretty much everywhere, and we just could not get over the fact that it was actually real fire. People were really getting into their Halloween decorations, and we appreciated this giant skeleton hanging out on the top deck. So much so that we had to stop and check him out again. There you are. Just want to get a better look at you. It's such a nice looking skeleton. Next up, we briefly stopped at the Cornstalk Fence Hotel. Catchy name, and if you can't tell, it's because the fence looks like cornstalks. The house was originally built in 1816, but in 1834, a man had the fence built for his bride, who was from Iowa, to help remind her of home. Aww. Right next door is the infamous Andrew Jackson Hotel, and I'm going to let our tour guide give you a short introduction.
In 1792, despite it being called the Royal Street Inn, it actually was an orphanage for boys as well as a school for boys.
Oh.
There was something that came to America that would change America forever. At first, they had no idea what it was. Thousands of people across U.S. cities broke out into fevers, sweats, chills, nausea. Their eyes and skin yellowing from jaundice.
Moving on to the Vampire Cafe. And I don't want to scare you, but I think we saw a real vampire. Beware. Jump scare, there she is. She'll get you. And here we come for another thrilling update.
Hi. We've made it to the Vampire Cafe.
We're gonna have blood bags.
Apparently, you can have a drink based off your blood type.
What blood type are you?
Oh, negative.
A negative.
Are you the universal type?
I am. If you need me, call me.
I'm the rarest.
Type.
I'm an A positive.
I'm A negative.
I'm A plus.
Negative.
Here is a list of the very creative drinks that they had to offer, and if you can't tell, Boydston is very happy about that. Lindsay went ahead and went for this blood bag here, and Boydston and I went for our blood type drinks, and I will tell you that they were all delicious. Here we captured the very moment Lindsay made a decision. Well, the Vampire Cafe opened in 2021, but the building where it's located is thought to date back to around 1800. In addition to delicious drinks, the cafe offers food with a vampire twist. Look at these tiny little skeletons in the drink. Aren't they adorable? Apparently, we were really in the party mood because we asked the bartender to make us shots that we most definitely did not need. All of the utensils are gold because we all know how vampires feel about silver. Even the bathroom is totally decked out in vampire decor, and basically this place is just a blast. And if you have the right connections, you might even get a special invite to a super secret vampire speakeasy. We did not end up making it to the speakeasy because their menu's primarily absinthe, which we found at the last bar, and that ended up being plenty for us. I think this is when we started to feel good from those drinks. Oh my god, it's Jesus! No, really, it's Jesus. It's a statue, and his shadow is casting creepily on the back of the St. Louis church. Here is Royale giving us a few more interesting stories before we head on to our last location on our haunted pub crawl. And that would be the Pirates Alley Cafe. And that's located right off Pirates Alley, which is supposedly one of the most haunted locations in New Orleans. The vibe on the street is pretty spooky and really does make you feel like you've gone back in time. Some even say that they've seen the spirit of Jean Lafitte, one of the most infamous pirates in history. And guys, here is where we were introduced to absinthe. Have you ever had it? Our tour guide really did a good job and took the time to explain to us what was going on because it is kind of a process, as you can see. Aw, don't we look so happy? Well, that's because this is pre-absinthe. We were not prepared. So if you're not already aware, absinthe is a light green color and is described as somewhat bitter and very herbal. It is also very strong. To prepare the drink, you're supposed to place a sugar cube onto a special spoon and allow the water to drip over the top. So when it's diluted with water, it turns into this cloudy, greenish white color. Fun fact, it was actually called the Green Fairy for a long time because of the mind-altering effects, and it was also illegal in the U.S. from 1912 to 2007.
Smells like licorice from afar.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's very herbal, like licorice, all that.
Yeah.
We found the absinthe.
I want them to. I want pictures.
Wait, no.
Yes.
Before you do
No.
that,
I smelled it.
What
It
everyone
smells like licorice.
smells first.
Yeah, I smelled it.
You want to take it in your nose first, so it's
I did.
easier to,
I did. I did. It smells like licorice.
Well, they're dead.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to read. I mean, they couldn't they read when they were young? I think that they're probably just dumb.
Smell it.
Somebody takes that as
They
one.
can say dumb. They're so pretty. Me and the ghost battle. We battle.
Somebody has that as one drink. Okay.
I just had that.
Here we go. We've made this. All right, we went for the Lucid. The Lucid is intense. It smells a lot like licorice. If you're into that, it's fine. Honestly, if you're not into it, it's also fine.
Spoiler alert, I hate it.
Spoiler alert, you have to split it. There's no way you can do this as one.
It's like help.
It's like really spicy licorice.
Don't say we didn't warn you. I guess you could call this an acquired taste. We have wandered back into Pirate Alley and we have entered the head petting portion of the evening. Boydston's about to do us a big favor. Oh, whoopsie. Let's see that again in slow-mo. Who else punches the air when they take a shot?
Hi.
Oh, hi. So we just finished our absinthe. Oh. And by finished, we mean it is on the ground. Wait,
See, here's the proof in case you didn't believe us.
we finished the absinthe.
I punched it to the ground. Sorry.
But the tour was 10 out of 10.
Oh my god, Royale's the best. I
She's
love
the
her.
best. The tour was amazing. the tour was amazing. Actually, the fact that we ended trying absinthe, that's pretty cool. I won't drink it again.
No. I've never had it in my life, and I don't think I was missing out.
But now we know.
Bye.
You might like it if you like fiery licorice.
We probably had no business going to another bar for a drink, but that's exactly what we did. We were really excited that you could take a drink to go, and we had to check out everything while we're here. And if you've ever wondered, are the Sarahs as awkward as they seem? The answer is yes, and here's your proof. Because why? What was that? Thank God we have Lindsay to keep us balanced. Speaking of Lindsay, she's about to become the beignet dragon.
It's delicious, but my God.
Dead. Cafe Du Monde did not disappoint, and as you can tell, it's probably getting time to wrap up the evening. Let's give you a quick update on what we thought.
Would you like to comment on the beignets?
It's all over my bag.
They're so good. It's like a funnel cake, but different.
I have absinthe and beignet all over myself.
I need to go to
I'd call it a successful night. Thanks, US Ghost Adventures.